What's going on, Spittin Chiclets fans? You know the drill. This interview is brought to you by No Days Wasted, the creators of DHM Detox, the vitamin for people that drink. DHM Detox is a recovery formula with a blend of natural ingredients, vitamins, and electrolytes that help you bounce back after drinking alcohol. Forget the next day nausea, brain fog, and anxiety. It's time to be smart and responsible about when you drink, and DHM Detox is your go-to drinking buddy that helps boost your body's natural response to drinking. It's risk-free purchase, so if you don't love it, they'll give you your money back. And as a bonus, here's a sneak peek at their Rapid Immunity Hydration product that is coming soon. Sign up for the email updates at nodayswastedco.com to stay in the loop. They're focused on creating functional, science-backed products that help you be your best. Also, I can't forget, No Days Wasted has also donated $10,000 to the ECHL Player Relief Fund, and they're offering 20% off your order of DHM Detox using the BIZ20 promo code. Just head over to their website at nodayswastedco.com for no days wasted after drinking. Now, enjoy the interview.
Well, next up is one of our most popular and now recurring guests. After a nice little college career and then mixing it up in the minors, punching faces for a little bit, he now serves and protects the fine citizens of Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome back to the Spittin Chiclets podcast, Brendan Walsh.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you. What has been going on since the last time I was here?
No, I want to ask you that. I want to ask you, what have you been doing since we chatted?
I have been going
just hunting down criminals.
Yeah, well, I've been working a lot, but I also coach my. I have a ferocious Dorchester U12 girls hockey team.
Do they just outwork all the opponents?
Oh, passion, energy, and pace. That's PEP. That's what I say. First on puck.
Oh my god! Well, actually, so we can get into the stories right away. Everyone remembers the.
Can I say one thing real quick? I'm going to cut you off real quick.
Sure,
I've been just from listening to the podcast, and one of my favorite thing is RA. You've been killing it, and the organic ad reads. I can't even get into it. I can't even get into the organic ad reads. I'm listening to this. I'm listening to the podcast, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, when does Roman swipes come in? When does the Roman swipe come in? And then I'm ready. I'll give it to you. I'll give you. Can I try it?
Like
Can I try
shark?
it? Yeah, like and then I'll come off the top of my head. Speaking of high sticking, and if you have a high stick issues and you have some problems, try Roman swipes. And then Thursday boot will come on, and I'm like, how's he work Thurman? Put Thursday boot in. How's he work it? He's like,
that's your alley. Just
you're
make
like
it up.
Bruce Boudreau. He just got the boot. And speaking of boots, and if you want nice boots, you want to walk around, try Thursday boot.
So
Am I
maybe
right?
now you can reach out to Walsh and give me a good ad
I
read.
love aren't they amazing? And how you work it in? And
it
I'll
makes
tell you
the
right
ads
now,
way better.
And the ads they're so much better, but I can secretly hear that you guys are kind of giggling in the background.
Oh,
like,
a couple of them really get me, and then a couple of them like, shut up, RA, but you got to respect it.
Got to stretch them once in a while, but yeah, they're fun.
We do keep them honest though, because some put in a little bit of a longer script.
Yep.
So if it goes over 60 seconds aggressively,
Yep.
I'll give them a little spanking on the way out.
Yep, and you know down to the minute what your time is worth, Biz. I know that.
The minute.
Minute and second.
If he's on a 30-second phone call, he bills somebody for a 30-second phone call.
That's what I said. Biz takes his head off the pillow. You're like, someone's fucking paying me today.
Okay, first of all, fucking that's hilarious because you're bang on. Second thing, speaking of time, before we started recording, Grinelli bent you over with a chirp, and you had your Apple Watch ringing. And,
yes.
And Walsh, goes, Grinelli, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea to turn this watch off? Did I do it right?
Yep,
Is that how you talk?
pretty good.
Like
Yeah,
I'm having
bad for you.
Like I'm having a fucking jammer. Better than RA's Bane voice. Anyway, and Grinelli responds with, I don't know, I don't wear shitty watches, I wear Rolexes.
Oof, I know it was a fastball.
Yeah,
Or,
boy.
I don't even think it was a fastball. It was a sucker punch.
Walsh, he gets up
I
swinging.
can't even get up from that. I
You
was
were
like,
basically Altuve or whatever his name is, who's going to be getting pegged every game this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, so I had some stories that I had written down that I wanted to get you to retell. I've heard them before, and since we're in media, I guess we can start in the fact that people who don't know, Brendan Walsh, you got into media when you were done playing.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the backstory on the? I think it began at Maine. Maybe when you graduated when you were 37.
Yeah, I was 40 years old, graduate student, still with hockey eligibility, left up at Maine. And so there was Channel 7 up at Maine, up in Bangor, and so I did like an internship. And you guys had talked previously on podcasts just how nervous red light goes on first couple times. You're like, all right, and the level of detail and how much information you have to read and just the concentration and the first thing is the worst thing. As soon as you start listening to your own voice as you're speaking, you're like, you're done. You've gone down a rabbit hole that you cannot get out of. So I worked for Channel 7, and I would just do like these real quick one hits. Like, all right, I'd work for Channel 7 News. Rich Krampanis and Chuck Whitney up in Bangor, Maine.
Oh yeah, he's my uncle.
Yeah. So I go to doing this thing in college, and I do these quick hits, and they'd be like, all right, I'd come back and do sports. Like on the desk, but I didn't have an earpiece. I didn't have anything, and I'd be like, "Oh, look at the hard work of old number 36. Who would be me grinding it out there with a nice little tap-in goal?" And I would give the sports from me, and then cover like Bangor, like basketball, high school basketball. So one of the guys had to go out, and this is one of the best. Like it's on gag reels everywhere up at Maine. So I'm covering I'm working for Channel 7. Channel 5 is covering all of Bangor for like homecoming weekend. So the whole time we're playing hockey up at Maine, Channel 5 is their homecoming, like football, Channel 5 trucks. This person with a mic holder on it, Channel 5, Channel 5, Channel 5. So we play our game. I go back to the studio at Channel 7. So now they put an earpiece on me. And people, if you're not in the biz and if you don't know, they put the earpiece on me, and they're like, you're heavy. And I'm like, okay, who's that guy talking in my ear? They're like, heavy, which means fill in because Nightline is coming on no matter what, or Dateline is for the affiliate.
You got too much for the time left.
You got too much for the time left. And if you're light, means like, hey, get out. This is ending. So, we come out of the first commercial break. We're like, oh, we're heavy. And the guy's like, no, Nightline. No, we're light. And so I'm sitting at the desk at Channel 7. And the guy's like, well, Brendan. And the guy's like, we're heavy, we're light, we're heavy. And in my earpiece, and I'm sitting there like in my eyes. And the guy's like, we're heavy. He goes, oh, no, we're real heavy, just go. And the guy's like, well, Brendan, it's been great having you part of your internship here, and you've done a fantastic job. And I said, well, it's been great being part of the Channel 5 family, and I just want to know it's been fantastic working for you people here at Channel 5. Cut, Dateline goes on. The fucking guy, I could see a pen go up in the background. Wrong channel. It comes in. I'm on the wrong channel. And
You'd seen the 5 all day.
I've seen the 5 all day. Concussions all over the place.
They give you an internship and you can't even.
And there's like a camera guy like with like a big WTF like behind the cameras like, what the fuck? I left. Of course I leave like double gunning off to the bar and run around and chase people all night.
You're like, hey, sorry guys on the way up, but appreciate the credit for my senior year finally.
Which worked, which good. I end up going through, and then I end up working at Nesson with
Hockey East.
And also,
right?
here's a good thing about doing media back then too is, I mean, there probably wasn't even Facebook, was there?
No. There was
you didn't have
social...
So you didn't have to hear about how shitty of a job you did. You were just like, fuck it. Nobody was watching. Meanwhile, people were like,
Aunt Ethel wrote a letter.
And I'm like, I have an Irish Catholic mother. She loves me. She's like, you did fantastic, honey. Thanks, Mom. And I'm just out there just like, oh, there I am. I'm the boss. That's all I need.
oh, man.
So I worked at Nesson, and I had Catherine Tappan, who was there at Nesson, worked with Catherine, Dale Arnold, Bob Beers. I'm thinking the names.
It was Hockey East games, Friday nights or something, right?
Hockey East games. And then I would get these. So I was working as, Boston Police, and I would get these informational packets, and you're in the biz now, and you cover all that stuff. But you have the luxury of maybe, you get to see some of these teams, what they are, what they represent, biz, covering Arizona, and you're in the mix a little bit because, you're catching all the teams, and you know how all the stuff there are. I'm like, RA, and, you just left fucking Charlestown, had a slice of pizza at Jenny's, and then you're talking to these guys. So, I'm working at Nesson, and I would get complete anxiety. I'm like in police uniform, and I would get this like, these schools would just dump this information on it. And this is like, to be on a Nesson game, this would be like, just the pronunciations of kids' names. This is the only time they're probably going to be on NESN, unless you're Boston College. You're going to be on 15 times that year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Other than that, like if it was Lowell, like this is
Lowell's one chance.
This is Lowell's one chance, and you got the kid with a Boston accent just butchering your kid's name, family name.
You got to have a big motor because you're going to fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you look at like some of these people who do it in these small towns and then they end up on online because they completely just say a word that, they say dick or penis in the middle of their sentence or hey, I've done live hits where I've been terrible. Even in Arizona, I've mentioned a few times on the podcast. Like it was like Todd Walsh teed me up with a question, and I'm like, I don't even remember what I was going to say, Todd, and he kind of just like, you just saved my ass.
But how good are those guys who do it? Like Tom Caron and Eric Freed is the guy who started it. But these guys are like
they're robots,
just like in and out of
automatic
breaks. Come in and out of
they don't feel any
transition
different when the light turns on.
No.
It's like Joe Thornton when he's got the puck on his stick. They say his heart rate goes down.
Yeah.
Compared to when he doesn't.
Yep.
It's like these people were born to be on television. Their motor is just they can read off the teleprompter like they're talking to you.
Or they're just serial killers and we don't know anything about
or
it.
that. Yeah. Well, there is a poll. Some of the most narcissistic people on the planet are like entertainers.
That
And
makes
TV
sense.
personalities,
That makes sense.
lawyers.
That checks a lot of boxes for me.
Well, think about a psychiatrist, right? Because you think you can heal other people's problems too, but you don't have enough of your own like the rest of us, So I mean, you'd have to have a level of narcissism. Anyway, where are we going to go after that? You asked.
Our stories have breaks and issues. That's fine.
Mateau.
Oh.
You forgot
Mateau.
Stephane Mateau.
Mateau. So I was playing in San Antonio, and so Stephane Mateau, funny to bring it up, got sent down. I think he played in the minors like 18 years prior, and I think he was in the IHL, but just for a little bit, and then what did he have? 2 Stanley Cups?
Just the one. Just the
I
one.
thought
with the
it was-
Rangers.
Was it Montreal? Did he have one
I'll look it
Montreal?
up.
No, he might have won one with Dallas. Was he on Dallas?
Well, remember when you talked about the information?
Just me guessing.
Yeah.
We don't retain a lot
Okay.
either.
That's all right. So anyway,
looking it up.
he gets sent down, and the scuttlebutt. If you're down in the American League, and like, hey, I think Stephane Mateau's getting sent down, and I was like, oh, really? That's cool. And all right, well, whatever that represents, he gets sent down, and so. We go to San Antonio. We're playing it. You remember you were playing San Antonio, the SBC Center, and they have like the change room. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to prank this guy. Like he just got here. I didn't see him in camp because I had got traded to San Antonio, and I had like Jimmy Campbell, Jamie Rivers, Sean Gagnon, Pierre Dagenet, Jeff Toms, guys who just really like to break balls. So I said, guys, of course, on a side note, like these older NHL guys get dressed. Like if you had to get into the locker room at like 4:15, they're dressed at like 4:20, like waiting to put skates on. I'm like, what?
Yes.
This is banana land. Like just go, like get dressed. I used to get dressed right before warm-ups and head out.
Took you 3 minutes.
3 minutes to get dressed. So he's dressed, and I see him. This Stephane Mateau, like Stanley Cup champion, unbelievable hockey player. Watched him playing as a kid. And so I said, all right, I go, guys. So I quickly slide in the back door of the change room coming in the side. I go, guys, just follow my lead and just watch this. Sit on the other side of the change room. And so I grabbed my Gitch bag, got my coffee, fantastic suit, looked fantastic. I walk up to Steph Mateau and I said, hey, Steph, how you doing? Brendan Walsh, nice to meet you. Looks like up on the board here, Torch got us playing together tonight. And he's like, yeah. Nicest, when I say the nicest man, legitimately one of the nicest guys. I said, hey, why don't you come with me there, fella, and while I get dressed. And so he's following
18 years in the NHL.
18 years in the
around.
NHL. Follows me into the locker, into the change. There's like a change room, like a legit nice change room. So we get into the change room, and when I say the biggest wheel, I'm getting undressed, like taking the stuff off. and like get my gitch. I said, "Hey, Steph, well, it looks like you found yourself in a little bit of a pickle. Get yourself down here, and hey, just no worries tonight. And, we're playing together tonight, and just let's try to have some fun. Let's whip the puck around." And I said, "But if you dump the puck in, I'll tell you right now, I ain't chasing it because that's possession's my game." And so his face, and he's like taping a stick, and he was like sitting there. I have all these other guys, Rivers, Toms, Campbell, Sean Gagnon. They're hanging on the other side of the change room, and they're sitting there, and this is his face. He's like this. He's like, and he came over so nice, like all dressed, like he was in his full gear, like no top on. And I come over just last second, just to like I've never played. I never played in the NHL, obviously. But I just sit there and
big time
just fucking big, like the biggest wheel of hardest. Like picture every kid that went to an OHL camp their first time NHL. Every OHL kid NHL camp. I'm that kid. I'm that kid in the OHL.
He's like, this kid must have played 7 years in the O.
That's hockey.
That's hockey. So I go in there and he's sitting there and he's like, and I wrap up. I said, if. I like to possess the puck. If you dump it in, I don't know if I'm getting it. So, whatever you think you need to do. And hey, last thing. And his face is like smiling and just slowly starting to like the smile is cracking and
like I'm gonna kill this kid.
I'm gonna who is this fucking kid? And so I'm sitting there and I said, and you know what? At the end of the day, just consider me, don't get nervous. Just consider me, I'm just a regular guy. I'm just a normal guy.
He must have known at that point.
At that point, he like looked at me and he was like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like looked at me, he was like, "What?" And I fucking grabbed him and hugged him. I said, "We're gonna have a fucking unbelievable time." He was at the hotel. He checked out of his hotel room, moved into my hotel room for the next 9 days, and we just hung out. Just a great guy.
Fucking real.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome that right away he's like, this guy's got to be completely fucking with me, and you got him.
But like for a good 6 minutes, he was completely Ratalonia.
That's actually where his last 3 games of his professional career were at San Antonio. And just for, if you want to know the scene behind the scene on the send down, which I had heard, you have to go watch Biz's. Were you up there, Vancouver Giants?
No,
No.
Vancouver Warriors.
Vancouver Warriors. If you want to know why he got sent down, which I have heard, you have to click on the locker room scene from your YouTube. And that I heard that's one of the reasons why he gets sent down. And he was like, "Fuck that." So while you're sitting there and the gears are grinding,
the hamster's going, but I can't make it click. Whit, help me out here.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I think he got. Okay, do I have to?
So you're gonna explain the situation? Are you saying that?
I'm saying go click on your thing and go to your locker room scene when you did your Vancouver lacrosse.
When he bullies the captain?
No, they put him in a chair in the room. Keenan did. That's what I had heard.
He put him in the middle of the room like shit stall.
Shit stall.
Shit sandwich.
That's what I had heard, but I didn't know. And he was like, "You know what?" But I don't know, and I can't speak to that. But I just know
that's how bad
when he came down, he was phenomenal. Just a great guy.
There's usually something that goes to those.
Yeah.
I mean, he scored such a legendary goal.
Thanks for the quick plug on the lacrosse video, though. Do you like that?
I was phenomenal.
Do you like my content?
Just smashing. I like when you say content. I like when you do content for you mutant listeners all in one line. And I think it's like a whole thing. I'm like just fucking pumping out content for you mutant listeners. Is it awesome? Was that dead on?
Did you pour a little out for San Antonio? They lost their team. Vegas bought them. They don't have a team anymore.
See what you did? You destroy everything you touch.
I know.
I loved it there.
When we were in San Antonio, Torch was a great coach that we had. Pretty intense. And I remember him like a great coach, intense. And you talk about, Pierre Dagenet?
I know who he is.
Played Montreal, French guy, and probably one of the more like impactful guys because like he was, he had played in the NHL and up and down with New Jersey and just a phenomenal dude. He played in Montreal after like Ribeiro. They beat Boston in the Cup that one year.
Was he a smaller centerman?
No, he was 6'5".
Oh fuck!
Played the
Can
wing.
we cut that, Grinnell?
6'5".
Yeah.
Absolute.
Were you thinking of Desharnais?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
No, he was like one of the most the hardest shot you ever saw. He was like built like a greyhound. He was all like ribs and wrench, just like phenomenal looking. Great suits, like just awesome. So he was there, and I remember like Torch was like my roommate, and he was a phenomenal guy. And he was like, "Brendan, I know you'll go out but you'll go home, Pierre. Just make sure he gets home. So I remember Pierre had his friends came in, and we had like a power play walkthrough, and just like it's just something that just jumps out at me. We had a power play walkthrough like in practice with another team coming into town, and so Pierre had gone out, and he was not, believe it or not, like not drunk at practice, nothing like that. Just like he was just, maybe his inhibitions were a little bit lowered for the walkthrough. So they do the grease.
No, his give a fuck meter was very low.
His give a fuck meter was low, and he was like pissed off. This is a French kid. All he does is score goals. That's his thing. And Pierre, phenomenal player, even a better person. And so I've never seen anything like it. So Torch is drawing up the drills, and he's like, we're going to work on like an umbrella power play. It's going to go through Tomer, Jimmy Campbell, and come over here and Daj will be your net front. And then he hit like Pierre like sucks on his teeth. And he's like, is there a problem, Daj? Is there a problem? And he goes, I don't understand. And then Torch throws the pen at him. And Daj catches it off his like this is at the SBC Center, whatever, San Antonio. He catches the pen, and then he goes, yeah, okay. And he walks over to the grease board, and he's like, all the time you come over here with the umbrella, but I don't understand it. We could have me on the half. Of course, the power play is directed everything with him. Through him taking 2 steps off and dropping one-timers, right? And so he's like, I don't understand. We come on the power play, and I come in, you put Tomer net front. Tomer, bigger presence. And I come in here and come back with River, pass to me on the half wall. I take 2 steps, come in, get shot the other time, and then we collect the puck up top, and we get it back again on rebounds. I don't understand.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good. And he goes in, and then Scotty Allen, who was the coach, was like, and Torch was walking out, and Scotty Allen was assistant. 2 awesome coaches. Torch was, fantastic coach, and Scotty Allen. And Torch goes, he ain't playing tonight.
Because he was kind of talking back. Well, lo and behold, you guys know minor league madness. It's all of a sudden, 2 guys get the stomach bug, Dodge back in. Wouldn't you know it? Hat trick.
No. 2 goals, I think. 2 goals and assist. Like, didn't play the first period, and then, like, the game got heated and was like, here's the power play with Dodge. One-timers. Right back in the mix.
The half won't work.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh,
and, of course, at Dodge.
And especially in the minors, too. If you're a prospect, you're getting a million chances.
A million chances. Because there's someone above you up top was like, what did my guy do?
You making it realize
what did my guy do?
Unreal.
Well, you talk also about what we talked last time you were on about. I mean, you just loved fighting. You just loved getting in guys' faces. But you teed me up on a story about Doug Smith.
Oh, yeah.
What's that story?
So when we were the year of the lockout, which you called like it was the craziest, right?
Yep.
The craziest
Iron League.
year. Iron League. The year before is Iron League. Which I'll say, and I love the not a big deal, but 30 majors that year, not a big deal. 10 helpers the year, 10 goals the year before, 30 majors that year, 50 games, biz, not a big deal.
Is that good?
Yeah, 10 goals, 50 games,
I
30
know.
majors.
Well,
I'm playing 6 minutes, I got 10 goals.
Time out. You missed it. That's another one of our sayings. Is like, when you're like, I had 50 goals that year, is that good? Okay, so keep the fuck up.
That's the new not a big deal.
That's it.
You must have been missing it the whole time, so you should go back and have to re-listen to all those episodes.
That should be my punishment.
Yeah. All right, back to your story.
Where were we? On the
Doug Smith.
So Dougie Smith, who was just like our fight doctor, and no one really knew that. So we had Dougie Dool in Providence. Remember Delicious? Dougie Dool, St. John's.
Oh, I don't remember.
Well, he was a little maybe out of your line. DD.
Sounds like one of the Rippers.
Doug Smith, is that the one who Goon was based on, right?
The movie, Doug Klatt, Goon.
Yeah.
That's based off his book. And we won't say that word if Ty Domi was here. But
doesn't like that.
No.
Granelli will.
No.
He got kind of like fake mad, and some people were like, geez, you got really mad. Like, if you said it to him in a serious manner, he would.
Yeah.
I think he reminded Grinnell to
Grinnell used the G
hey, we want to tell the story about why he hates being called the Goon, and rightfully so.
Yep.
He takes a lot of pride in what he did.
Absolutely. And
I don't mind being called a Goon.
No,
I've been called a lot worse. I've been kicked out of nicer places than this.
Absolutely. So Doug Smith we came down there, and so we would drop a bag from the scoreboard in Providence, and we would work on the bag, and we'd put like a turtleneck on our neck so if we wouldn't get jersey burns. And so when we would go there, but we would have like, this is all before YouTube, and I think like Trevor Gillies and those guys would love it. Like we would simulate guys who we would fight that week. And I watch fighting now. These kids, and I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to be a killer. These kids can't fight. What's the jersey punch?
I couldn't fight.
This is the ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
But I started doing that. Listen, call me a pussy all you want, man. Like I couldn't stand in there like those maniacs.
But it's not standing in there. There was like, under grabs, cross grab, like how you would be able to position your punching angles, and be able to put guys off your feet. Like you talked about Ty Domi, like kind of modeled yourself after that, where you're like pulling people off, off balance, grappling, and then be able to,
And Sean Thornton was an unbelievable.
Sean Thornton was phenomenal at it. Dennis Bonvie, better.
I think probably just less emphasis on it because it's so
There's no skill set.
a small part of the game now. You don't have to learn it.
It's such a small part of the game until it happens to your guy who's got 30 sheets.
Right.
And the agent, if you're not working to that part of your game, and all of a sudden you get flatlined, like, stop it. Like if you think you're gonna ride that edge and finish checks that hard, and you think that's gonna be in, you should come to my fighting camp, which is gonna be this summer. And no, I'm just kidding.
I just still like, what?
Well, you should have had RA segue into it.
But I mean, there used to be tons of those fighting camps. I don't even know, do they still exist anymore?
No, I don't think so. I think it was just one of those things that if we were gonna do it at the league, where the league was, where it was, like if you were gonna practice, shooting goal, scoring goals and practice, cross ice saucer passes, why wouldn't you practice, being able to take a punch and give a punch?
But what did he say to you? Like, had you ever been KO'd or something like that?
Oh, no. I think it was, and people would always ask, like, have you got knocked out before? Like, straight knocked out? And I'm like, of course in my mind, I'm like, no. Yeah. And so the only time I got completely flatlined, completely starched, was remember those games in the American League where you'd be sitting in traffic going up like to Albany or like Binghamton.
And it's raining.
It's like raining, snowing, and it's like you're like, oh, this is terrible.
And you knew you were going in to be a rat and fight too.
Yeah. And so like the games there would be like, there'd be no warm-ups. They'd be like, well,
you're late.
You sat here and we'll do a 10-minute warm-up, no ice, the buzz will drop. So I'll never forget. We played Albany, which we had a gong show with Albany before, and they had like Skrubko, Cam Jansen's, a bunch of guys. Cam had got called up.
Who's the guy with the biggest head in the world? Skurlak?
Rob Skurlak.
Oh my God, I remember being terrified.
No, not Skrubko. Yeah, Skurlak. I'm thinking, and they always had a plethora of guys who could answer the bell. So I'll never forget. And then we talked about it before in the other podcast, like the stat pack. Like, so you could find out, like this was on YouTube, you'd see. So I remember getting dressed. We're late at the warm-ups, and I was like, who's this kid, Frank Littlejohn, like with 400 minutes?
I fought him in the East Coast League.
Yeah, tough, right?
Yeah, I think he got the better of it. I didn't know how to fight very well back then. Yeah.
Frank Littlejohn?
Yeah.
Littlejohn,
well,
yeah.
You know what, Biz? I knew how to fight, and I got completely fucking starched.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'll never forget, like I'm getting dressed, and you know how you're like walking around, and you're like, does anybody know this dude? Like
somebody tell me something?
As you're putting like stuff on, and they're like, 5 minutes. That's the callback. And so
tell me something about this guy.
Does anyone know? Is he a lefty? He's a righty? And so like this crazy, like I think he's an Indian kid. And so there's a couple, there's a couple fights, and maybe the second period or something. Or no, first period. And I remember going. And remember our coach was Rob Murray, Scott. And you don't remember Rob Murray. Rob Murray, one of the toughest guys, like the nastiest, vicious, hardworking players, like maybe 20 years.
Okay.
AHL, NHL guy, and up and down, and was our assistant coach. But he was just a mean guy, but I could get a sense of humor out of him. And so, there was a couple of checks that went high. There was a fight that went on before, and so I jump on the ice, and there was this kid, Littlejohn, I see. So now I'm next to this kid, and so I look up to him, and I go, well, obviously this has happened. You ready to do it? And he just looks over at me, and he's like, yep. And I was like, all right. I was like, all right, cool. All right, the puck drops. We drop our shit. we're spinning around, and this kid's got this crazy stance.
Oh, yeah. Usually when they have weird stances, I'm like, oh,
It's
shit.
a little bit of a panic.
Yeah.
Some of them are phonies, but other ones you're like, oh,
That and the
shit.
sleeve tattoo.
This
I've
guy
always
was
said.
doing it at 10 years old in some fucking in the woods in Saskatchewan fighting high schoolers.
His knuckles are behind his elbows in some crazy weird stance, like just drifting back into the goal line.
But isn't there a scene at a like blood sport where this guy does this whole like jump around routine before they actually get into it, and then like one punch the guy's done? So once again,
I was more the blood sport guy, kind of just impatient, being like, all right, come on, are we going to do this or we're not going to do this? We're going to do this. And we're drifting back, like, it was like offside dot, and we're drifting by the benches. And he's got this cut, just his right hand's cocked, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, are we going to do this or not do this? Like, serious. So now I'm like, after all the coaching that I've done and the success that I've had at that part of the game, I was like, you know what? I've been doing this. I have fought everybody. I'm like, come here, you little kid. And like go to grab him on the shoulder pads. Because I had zero respect. And just he was like, sunk, just hits me right in the chin. Surf's up, I'm on the top of the surfboard. I'm just like, riding the wave. Right, just fucking surfing. And I'm just like on the top. And like I try to grab him, like it's just your fight or flight, but it's more ego because I'm between the two benches. And like I'm like just completely
Try to bring him down with you, baby.
I'm like, all right. It's like, you guys saw the lobster pot I gave him. I kicked his leg out.
Hey, and like you don't want to give him the full out win. You want to be like, oh, like you don't want to lose all momentum for your team.
He punched me, and I had an instant smile on my face from the bench, and all the guys on my team in Providence were like, Walshy, he hit you, and you smiled, and I was like, because that's how hard I got hit, and I was like, oh my God, he hit me so hard, and I had the. I went back in between the benches, and Rob Murray, I picked myself up after the refs came in there, and I was like, I think I'm okay. I'm all right. And Rob Murray just looks at me, and he has a real dry sense of humor. He's like, way to get the boys going. My coach, right there. He goes, way to get. But like the timing was perfect, and I was like, my ego was
like
more. My ego was hurt more than the punch and the hurt in my jaw, and I was like, oh, how can I look back at the guys? And he was like, hey, Walshy, and I was like, yeah, like holding myself up against the boards, and he was like, way to get the boys going. And I was like, oh, fuck you, Mer, fuck, and like skated off to go get mended up.
How did you guys do? Did you guys win the game?
I can't even remember. I was knocked out.
God.
But I remember driving back in a snowstorm, though. By the time I came to, we were playing cards. And I was just like a little schnarps. Crazy Tim Thomas was like, I didn't think it was that bad. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Tom, I got completely flatlined. Got an ironed shirt under me.
Did you have a lot of fights growing up as a kid in Dorchester?
Yeah, it's neighborhood stuff.
Yeah.
So like,
but nothing like out of the ordinary. Like
No,
one of these guys
no,
are like
no,
fucking
no.
fought every other day or something.
no, it's it's Dorchester. It's the same as Charlestown.
Yeah,
It's
most people get along.
knife fights, gun fights,
Yeah,
bar
right,
fights,
yeah.
street fights.
Monkey knife fights.
Do you have any other ones that you want us to tee you up with?
Oh yeah.
You like that?
No, 50. The legendary 56 minutes in the Spectrum.
Oof. So you remember this? Did you play in the Spectrum?
Oh, I did.
Were you Wachovia?
No, I played in the old school Philadelphia Phantoms rink, which used to,
Spectrum.
of course,
That was
be
the
the
Spectrum.
Flyers' old building, and it was it was right next door, right?
Yeah.
They built it right across the parking lot.
That's
Yeah.
where the Rocky statue is, outside the Spectrum, right?
Yeah. And I'm the
Oh,
first
no, is
time I
that-
walked.
That's downtown.
What statue's outside the Spectrum? Some of the Philly.
Yeah, no, it's like I think the baseball field, Wachovia.
It's all right there.
It's Wachovia, the
all right
baseball
there.
field. That whole center's right there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
It was cool. I got to experience it for a few years in the American League, and you could just tell there was some character to it. And they were still drawing well for their AHL team because I think at the time they might have even been a little bit more competitive. Don't quote me on that, but it was a fucking time.
No, it was awesome time. And we used to play. Remember Wilkes-Barre? You guys were there. Remember the
We used to have some battles, man.
battles? But my favorite game, Biz, was you guys must have played in it, which would be like the public school day at the Spectrum.
Oh, 11
And there would be
a.m.
like 11
SpongeBob
a.m.
SquarePants.
sparks coming off people's helmets. And there'd be like a 5-on-5 line brawl. where
Kindergarten
people
kids.
cut kindergarten kids at the public school day, and they'd be like, "Who lives in a fucking under the sea? SpongeBob!" Like the kids would be going crazy, and there would be like in
Blood's
there.
flying
It'd be
in
like
the stands.
10:30, 11 in the morning, and would be blood sport.
Like, why not have this kids game after a 3-3 in a 4 o'clock, like a 10 a.m. game on a Tuesday? Because there's no hate in that. Everyone would just complete utter hungover and just nastiness.
Yeah, they made sure people were pissed off going into that game. So you had just a big night though at the Spectrum.
It was funny. I actually right before that was right before Thanksgiving, and remember Alexander Giroux, awesome player. I played for the up and down Rangers.
Yeah, he had 50 in the AHL, I think.
Yeah. So he was like on the. I'll never forget. He like broke my toe, separated my toe with a one-timer, and I remember in Hartford right before this Spectrum game, I was telling him, I was like, dude, no one-timers on the power play. Like, and he was like, oh, okay. Like while we were playing, while they were on the power play. And he was like, oh, okay. And so, like, thinking that he would do that, not tummy sticks. But it was just like, hey, dude, fucking asshole. Like, he wound up like...
Have some respect.
No fucking one-timers.
You try to guilt trip him about the fact that he was trying to score goals.
And so he was like, no, I got you. And they came in, and then finally he crushes one-timer. And just, of course, I'm like, don't open my foot up. I hit my foot. I open my toe up. I separate my toe. So I'm off. I haven't played in like 9 days. Scotty Gordon says to me and goes, hey, well, we're going down to Providence right before Thanksgiving. It's a Thanksgiving game. And he's like, you can stay home. We're just going down for the game.
Go down to Philly?
Go down to Philly to play them right before Thanksgiving. And I was like, you know what? I'm with the team. Like, absolutely. Go down, get a sweat, ride the bike, try to skate. If I can't skate with the broken foot, I'll come back and, ride the bike and have some beers on the bus or on the way home, from Philly. Have a good time. Go out to dinner. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. So we go to some unbelievable. What was the name of that? There's a steak joint in Philly. We get to pick your own knife. It's like a Porsche or like I forget the name of the restaurant.
I don't remember.
It was like a really, really, really high-end steak joint. So I go there. I had these crazy shoes while I'm walking home with like Brad Boys and a bunch of guys to the hotel. My foot goes click, jumps. It clicks and it goes back in. I go, dude, my
foot's good, I think.
My foot's fine. So now they have a crazy lineup the next day. And I go, Gordo, I think I can go. And he's like, well, you haven't skated. And I said, I could look at the lineup. I said,
I ain't been doing much skating, bud.
Yeah, exactly. I said, I think I can go. And I said, I can give you a couple. That
just takes a lot of pressure off the boys, and that's such a stand-up move by you because people who
know what you're getting into.
Yeah, dude,
absolutely.
That's a stand-up move. For the boys, and knowing you can get your face caved in probably.
So I fight Jeff Smith right off the bat, big defenseman. I come in just like
you got no win, by the way.
Yeah, no. But I do very well against Jeff, and then Sean Gagnon. Yeah. No, not Gagnon. He played in Phoenix.
Fedoruk?
No.
Grattan.
Josh. So I fight Josh Grattan.
Oh, my God. You fought Josh Grattan.
I probably fight him for like a 4.5 minute fight. And I catch him on a back check, naturally. And so he's like going, now it's back check. We go back into the zone, and he's been running around.
He's a psychopath.
He didn't bleed, right?
Psychopath, because if he's at the end of his shift, his wires would cross and he'd still fight you.
Yep.
Which sometimes he had no business fighting. He should have waited till he was completely.
But he was too mad.
But he would still go.
No, he was pretty fresh.
He would still go the distance. He
pretty fresh
down.
Considering the fight. So we play. The game's there. He's finishing checks like a nut, and I'm like, oh Jesus, this is not again. So I'm like, all right, Josh. I rip him across the arms. I'm like, dude, we're doing it. And he's like, I was like, you ready? So we go and fight, and. People say, oh, do you get nervous fighting? Do you think? I said, I don't get nervous. I don't get anxious. I don't have anxiety. That's just me. I know it might pertain to other people. But the only time I felt unnerved, I hit him with an absolute bomb.
It didn't affect him.
And I was like, we're in there, and I was like, oh, here it comes. And I waited to do the thing that I wanted him to do, and I hit him and crushed him with a bomb. And he just blinked at me, and my spine gave out.
That's
oh no,
that's all I had.
No. And then I was like, all right, Walshy, time for old lobster pot. You going for the ride? I was like looking at the ref. I was like, I think we're good. And he was
Get in here.
Hey, yeah, I was waiting.
It's like we're just starting, Brendan.
He's a sick puppy, man.
So we fought hard. It was about like a 3-4 minute fight. We go in the penalty box.
come out, and I was like, all right, no winners, no, he got the better of me, no worries. So then we go out, and remember Eric Malash?
Yes.
So I played with Eric. So Eric was there. Now, I think they were up by a couple goals, and they're feeling there's maybe like 6 minutes left in this game. And now I'm back playing again. Like 2 people get injured, so now I'm taking like a shift, every other shift. I'm like going. And so I go in and, come right out of the zone. Eric Malash, before he hits me, like runs me over, he goes, woo! And smokes me. Like just completely rim rocks me. And I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill
the wires crossed.
I'm going to kill this kid. So then he goes into penalty. I get a penalty because I try to go after him. Then I line up for the face-off at like 2 minutes left. I just called my own change. I was like, hey, you're off. And Eric was taking the face-off. And I just went after him. It was just complete, like the wires crossed. It was crazy. Craig Berube was the coach.
So you got 56 minutes.
So that whole
total.
thing just wrapped up 56 minutes, which at the time for a Boston kid, and I was like, Johnny Most, the Sixers, I was like, I got to leave a dent on this.
Impressive. Yeah.
I got to leave a dent in the spectrum.
I'm going after
it.
This is after cracking your foot back into place the night before.
Incredible, dude.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable performance from the Dorchester
Breaking
kid.
down, punching Josh Gratton as hard as you can. That's like when you're fighting somebody who you don't want to be fighting. And I'll say this, when I was fighting Nasty Marasti, there's sometimes I would clobber him square dead right in the forehead that would just drop anyone. I hit Matt Bradley with the same punches, and Bradley went down.
Yeah.
He just takes him, and then your hand, it's like when you fucking hit a baseball and you get that feeling from the bat times 20.
Vibration station.
The vibration, and then your hand's done, and then he just takes over.
That's it.
I know.
What about, so we had Cam Neely in here earlier, and we were asking him like a Milbury story. You went for a visit at BC when he was coach, right?
Oh, my goodness. So Mike is,
we
Mike
just go
is a
all over the
phenomenal
map
guy.
with Walsh. Yeah,
I know. Milbury is amazing. So Milbury had the Boston College job for maybe
a minute, right?
like, I don't know, 6 weeks.
I think he went in, he's like, this place is, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah, 6 weeks. But so I played for the Junior Bruins, and we played, there was a tournament. So Mike just got the job maybe like on a Friday. On a Saturday, I was playing in a tournament in like Tingsboro. It was like the Junior Bruins versus the, it was like a team from Detroit and a team made up of like Detroit and OHL kids or Windsor kids or something like that, like to come down to Boston and play. And these guys were like bullying everybody, and it was a real physical game. And I wanted to get out of there. Like, I was like, all right, there was a Dorchester Day in Boston.
Oh, yeah, big party.
A big party. And I was like, all right, I got to get thrown out of this game. I got to get out of this game. So I act like a complete lunatic, and there was a referee called Gene Bender from South Boston. Remember Gene the dance machine?
Yeah, he kicked me out of the biggest high school game in my life. I've talked about it on this before.
So okay, invert that whole like thought process, and Gene was like, I know what you're trying to do.
I'm not kicking you out.
I'm not kicking you out. It's Dorchester Day. You're staying. So now, no one knows that, and this is so Milbury was kind of scouting that game. Is it Joe Lyons, right? Pro Elite. I think it was like one of the Lyons brothers. Anyway, it was the Lyons brothers who ran this whole kind of tournament thing, and I run around, but I'm like playing hard, scoring. Like, I'm like, if you're from Canada, your sticker's in the end of my spleen. Like just gashing people, and there's no calls. Like, I look like. And the space that I had for this thing, guys were like, Jesus Christ.
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? I'm running around like a nut. I can't get thrown out. There's no calls. So it filters through Mike Milbury, and then to my dad. And so it's like, hey, Mike Milbury, why don't you come over for a visit? And a visit was like, you go for a visit before your official visit. Like, just come over and talk and see where you are. This is when I was going out to USHL in Omaha. And I was like, all right. So Mike Milbury comes down. And the thing about Mike, great guy, bright, funny, great sense of humor. It comes off kind of stern and thing, but
dry sense of humor.
Dry sense of
really
humor.
funny.
But like, you know what's crazy? Like Cam Neely, you just talked about Mike Milbury. Like, how gigantic are those guys?
Huge.
Like just big old crooked weird dudes like that played. And you're like, look at the like all weird and crooked, like Frankenstein like. And you're like, these guys were animals. So I go for this visit with fucking Milbury. And I'm walking him. I go walk around. He's got like loafers on, and he doesn't even have his boxes unpacked at the office. And so
he brings me around. He's like, "Oh, geez, you played really hard. I just wanted to bring you over here and introduce myself. I like what you did out there. You played really hard. You created a lot of space, and you have to play with a lot of intensity and be ferocious out there. And this is what some of the attributes that I saw and I know of you that you need to do to come here." And it looks like I'm with my dad, who's my best friend, like ever gets it, and I'm sitting with Milbury. We're all sitting in the office. This is exactly how it is. Milbury's there, my dad's here. And he's like, "Yeah, I need you to play ferocious. I need you to do this and do that." And he goes, "It looks like you got a bit of a sharp tongue out there too, huh?" And he kind of leans back. He's got his feet up on the desk. And I'm thinking, I'm like 17. And I'm like, I thought that was the introduction for a line. Like, all right, like now,
like chirp me.
Like chirp me. What do you got? And so I was like, "Hey, Coach Milbury, I don't have a problem with you as long as you keep your shoes on." Referring back to the time when he went up into the stands in New York,
we're well aware of
and
why
beat
you
this
said
guy
it.
with a shoe.
Did your father look?
No. Dead silence. Milbury, like the oxygen comes out of the room, and I'm like, "Ready? Everyone, stop talking. Camera on. As long as you keep your shoes on." Silence like that, right? And so my father gives me the Peter Griffin, just like slow, and who's watched this guy his whole life play in the NHL. And so Milbury just sitting there, and it seems like an eternity. And then he lets out the best barrel laugh ever, and he's like, "That's great. Well, why don't you have a great time in Omaha? Enjoy yourself. Play hard. We'll be in touch." Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so you got Milbury to crack.
I got him to crack.
Yeah,
I got him to crack.
on a visit too.
On a visit.
Considering you're probably one of our fans' favorite guests, maybe that's a stone in the benefit of doubt.
Yes,
right there.
He would be great.
Maybe we can start building that wall and bridging that gap between the haters of Milbury.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. He's a good guy, and all those guys who work it. And we talked about earlier in the beginning of the show, just the media side and the preparation and how polished that product is and how polished. I saw what you guys had on. Were you guys doing the Trade Center breakdown?
One thing about Milbury too, he's been around long enough. I don't know how old was he when he first got into media, because as of right now, it's hard being critical. He got it to a point where he didn't give a shit. He didn't care who it was.
Well, I think that's part of it.
I think he was ripping Crosby pretty hard.
He'd rip anyone. He doesn't care. Which is, are you saying people appreciate the honesty?
I think that they do when it's fair. I think he was one of those guys, and I think he was so grumpy that he just went over the top. Like, dude, Crosby was getting fucking abused back then. Like, he was
old. He's very old school.
He's old school.
And people especially hockey Twitter hates old school. They're kind of
yeah.
So that they hate him more than anyone. But I'm kind of old school in a lot of hockey shit. So.
When I was on Nesson and doing the college hockey, I'd be really critical of Hazy, because I had know the family and Jimmy and Kevin, but it was like Kevin and Johnny Gaudreau, and they'd be like 19 one touch passes before they missed the net. And I'm like, quit being a hockey snob, just get a shot on net, create an opportunity. And now they got 80 sheets in the bank.
I was chirping the wrong guy.
Hey, good analysis, Walshy. Go fuck yourself.
Go arrest someone.
So I guess that explains why you're a cop now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it wasn't so much like the beat of the drum. It was more so that you just didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
A little bit, but if you could say it like that, but I was like, but I did it with pizzazz.
Yeah, you did. yeah, like Milbury.
Yeah.
Were you older? Or were you coming up with Berard?
It was funny. We were the same. I'm a couple years older than Brian.
Okay.
And then, but I think that one year, we had, we played in the Province Journal Bulletin Tournament, which is Mount St. Charles. Chris Drury was in Fairfield.
You were at CM?
I was at Catholic Memorial. So it was Broad, and there was maybe
you could say any name, and I would just nod my head. But RA and Witter.
Well, you're saying
I'm going to give you the old. I'm like Willie from Welland. There's probably 9 NHL, probably 6 NHL players on that
in this high
school tournament. Maybe I think was Griersy there who played thing very prominent. No, LaSalle. There was a bunch of players, but Chris Drury was playing for Fairfield.
Was he nasty growing up, Chris Drury?
I don't know. Like, was Drury at 14, 15? Was he the best?
He was just a little bit of a late bloomer, but just a robotic business like existence.
He was kind of like Patrice Bergeron.
Yes, he was like him.
Very much. I had I had Chris Drury, I had Grant Stanbrook, and we talked about Grant, right? And I had Chris Drury's roommate out at the Olympic Festival. And he was just this whole business-like approach. And this is where they picked the World Junior team, and this is where they pick the Under-20 team. And I was trying out for the Under-20 team, and Chris Drury, who was my roommate, was trying out for the World Junior team.
Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, so we all played. It was like north, south, east, west, right?
Oh, okay. So it's all a World Junior. So
these it would be the Olympic Festival when we were at Denver.
Okay, all right.
You'll love this, Biz. So Grant Stanbrook was one of my coaches on this team, and we talked about his intensity, and we talked about just his, a little bit of quirkiness.
Great recruiter, Biz.
Just great recruiter, unbelievable coach, and he was my assistant coach on the team. So I go out like almost every night of this tournament, right? Because I'm like, you know what? They've picked this thing. It's always been the same USA hockey darlings, and it's not a shot against the bow against USA Hockey. I'm like, all right, how many times are you going to pick this kid? He's not even that good, And so, but he's like, it's the coach's son's kid, and his father played at Wisconsin, and he's a USA Hockey guy. So we go play, and I stay out all night, right? And so I'm in Denver. I had a little adult sleepover. I was like 19, 20 years old. And then I come back to campus, and I sneak back into campus. Like, I had this whole campus like laid out, and at Denver. So I all right, total, I got to go by the security guard, which I know he was back at the guard shack at like 10:30, and he wasn't going to go back to the other side of the campus. So I would go back to the other side of the campus to get back in from my sleepover, back into campus. So I get back into my dorm room. And Chris Drury's my roommate. So I get back into bed, and I'm like,
what a night.
Walshy, what a night. So it's like 5:30 in the morning. And then I'm like, Chris Drury wakes up beside me, and he's like, hey, Grant came by. I was like, what?
At what time?
When did he come by? He was like, well, he came by at 7:30, and then I went upstairs up here, to do crunches and stick handle a golf ball and do everything else. And he came by at 9, and then came back in at like 12:30 to see if you were here. And I was like, well, back up. When was he here? Like, I need to drill this down. Like, when was he here? When did he get here?
How can I get out of this?
So then all of a sudden I go to like the next morning, I go to like the cafeteria. I'm trying out for a U.S. team. So I go to the cafeteria, and I'm like, who do I have with me? I have like Mike Grier, BU, NHL, one of the most amazing teammates ever, best guy ever. Timmy Lovell, very successful hockey guy, one of the funniest kids I've ever played with, runs a very successful hockey program.
How many more shout-outs we got here?
Chris O'Sullivan, John Coleman. I'm trying to think another Boston
You're
guy.
good. Just continue with the story.
So we talk like 6. So I'm like, all right, guys. All right, now we're war-warming this whole thing, right? War rooming.
I need your help.
Biz, I'm looking at you. I need your help. War rooming.
I know.
And so I'm like, guys, what do I do? Should I just like blow it off? Do I go up and talk to him? Do I just like I don't even know what you came by. I was there. Like, try to like play it off.
Rolled off the side of the bed.
Yeah, I was in the closet. That's where I sleep, upside down. You know that. Blood to the head. You didn't read about that? So I go. I'm like a fucking vampire. That's the fact. I don't sleep. So I'm like, fuck it. All right. The Irish guilt gets me. I'm like, I gotta go see Grant. I got to go up there.
Yeah,
now it's a dorm room. I just got to face it. If he sends me home, we're playing in the finals. Like, if he sends me home, fuck it. I'll just go home. My parents, who just flew out there to watch the final. And so I have all this going on in my head, inner turmoil. And so I go to Grant's room, and I'm like, hey, Grant. I'm like, sitting on the other side of the door. I'm like, Grant. And Grant's just crazy in shape, like 75. Like at the time, probably 70, 68 years old, ripped, shredded guy. I'm like, Grant, I'm like Jerry Seinfeld on the back of the door. I'm like, should I grab the door? Should I not grab the door? And he's like, hello. I'm like, Grant. I'm like,
fucking Fletch.
and so I'm like, I grab the door and I'm like, Grant, okay, coming in. So I open the door, goes whoa, 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 and smashes up against the fucking like the other dorm bed. I was like, crack. He's in his tighty whities and rolls like a barrel roll, like he just got shot out of a fucking cannon, and fucking all up underneath between beds, and like there's the fucking heater. I'm like, what just, Grant, are you okay? And he gets up like 2 seconds. He's like, hey, what's up? He had the Jack LaLanne workout things going while I was knocking on the door, connected to the door. And as soon as I opened the lock, it fucking sent the springs. He had the thing on full tension to the guy who I thought was going to send me home, Biz.
You could have killed him.
I swear to God. I swear. And so they go, boom. The door like reached out. I was like, what? And he's like a Greek god, like a 69-year-old Greek god, like a 9-pack.
Spartacus.
And so I was like, and he's like, gets up real quick, and he's like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about the game. We're playing the finals. Don't change. We talked about this before. Don't change anything about your game. I just want to reinforce that. Don't change anything about your game, and be ready to play hard. You're gonna go a lot. We need to shut you. I need you to shut down this here. You're a shutdown guy. And that's all he wanted to talk to me about.
No comment about
nothing.
That's awesome.
And I was just.
You think Drury was fucking with you? He's got a funny sense of humor.
I was gonna say, you don't think
probably. Maybe I didn't even think of that.
Did he acknowledge?
Drury's off dry.
This is like a Kobayashi moment, like on the back. I was like in the back, and I was like, Drury, fuck at me, Drury, fuck at me, Drury, fuck at me, Drury.
I thought for sure that's where it was gonna go, and you're saying Drury's the type of guy where like,
Drew would have no problem pulling a prank and then never even letting on ever that he got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was just
no. He'd be like
we gotta
at
ask
the old
him.
age home.
We gotta ask him. I'm too fucking curious.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mike Grier. You got to have some awesome stories about him. And you said he was an incredible teammate.
He used to truck people.
He used to truck, like, when I was there at BU, they used to, Jack Park used to give the hit of the night. And, like, it was like a a sticker back
get
in
a
the helmet.
decal.
Get a decal. And, when I say, like, they should have just gave him a sheet of decals at the beginning of the season, like, just apply them when you need to. Like, whenever you want, here's 200 hits of the night. Because for someone who was like the agility that he played with and the size that he played with, and he could play any which way you wanted. That was the thing that was scary about Mike. Like, he was good down low. He was good on the rush. Good on the power play.
Did he look like a worse skater than he actually was?
I think his skating got better. I remember at St. Sebastian's, we played against him in high school. He just raw, but I think hats off to Mike Boyle and the staff at BU. Like when I saw him and played with him, I wasn't, when he was skating at me 200 miles an hour in a down low drill. You couldn't get off the train tracks.
Am I wrong to say his form didn't look unreal out there?
Oh no, I don't think skating was ever considered like his main strength, but I think he figured out a way to be able to like still run guys over and score even though he wasn't a great skater.
Yeah.
But I think Mike Grier would still be, I knew he had a lot of knee issues and some injury stuff, but he would be in that category of guys, which I always completely amazed at. Like, if you were playing 9-10 years ago, considering where the speed of the game is going, the agility, the skill, if you're still playing like Patrice Bergeron and Kopitar and like some of these other guys, Ron Hainsey, that they're still playing, like, he would be in that thing. He'd be like, all right, I'll figure out a way to carve out something.
Griersy also was a guy who never drank, but was still a guy that would go out every night with the guys.
Guy.
Always. So it was really, I think it was cool. Like, he knows, if I'm not going to drink, still I'll be hanging around with the boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about, we might have talked about the first time with you, but I can't remember how sick Jay Pandolfo was in college.
Oh my God, Jay.
Because he went on to be such a checker. People, if you don't know, great defensive forward.
Well, to go back to how good he was, he scored a natural shorthanded hat trick, I believe, against Northeastern, where Ben Smith was the coach right before the Beanpot, and Northeastern went on the power play, and the coach, Ben Smith, said to the ref, was like, yeah, we'll decline.
Because Pando's going to score again.
A natural shorthanded hat trick in the first period. 3 shorties in the first period. And he just had one time, and he was so his ability to skate and shoot.
I remember watching those
and
games.
I'll never forget and how good he was, which would go back to when you had Marty Turco on, and we played Marty Turco in the national championship, and how dialed in Jay was that season. I mean, he scored like it seemed like every other shift. He he had a shot on net and or a goal. But Turco, we never saw him. Play comes across. It was kind of a lazy play, one timer, which was on an initial rush, and I was like, "Oh, here we go, 1-0," and Turco blasted from post to post and gloved it. He was opposite glove, wasn't he?
No, he was a righty, I believe, and then he turned his stick over to play the puck.
Yes, that's what he did. That's what he did. And then Jay Pandolfo, Turco snapped it out of the air. And in that instance, I was like, it ain't happening tonight.
No way.
It ain't happening.
Just playing a goalie that you guys hadn't seen that year.
Hadn't seen, and just how dialed in he was. And our thing was to get on the forecheck against that team. And we kind of pounded.
Oh yeah,
teams.
but he could play the puck.
And he
and
think of it in college. All of a sudden, you get into a situation where you can't positionally dump it and put it to space when you've never done it the whole year.
That's the thing. Is people act like, well, why don't you just jump it to the right area? It's like, yeah, but we
don't get it.
That's
back.
like looking back in time.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's right.
Yeah.
Like, the best coaches are able to slow down time and adjust in the midst of a game.
Yeah.
One, just because maybe they're just naturally good at it as a player and they've seen it before.
Yes.
And or they're able to adapt just that quickly, and more time it's the guy who's experienced it the hard way first.
Yeah.
Biz, another guy that I think I don't know, as a BU fan, Islanders fans know, was Sean Bates. What do you remember about him? I've always been told that he would have all his gear undone and be out of the room before Parker even came in to give his post-game speech.
No, absolutely. He'd run with a family of 35, and they would be up at T's Pub just waiting for Sean to get there to do a dance and just be dancing on the dance floor. But the things I love about Batesy, awesome teammate, just a quintessential city kid, but just a sick athlete. You're like, oh, what hockey school did you go to? He's like, I've never been to a hockey school. Just as he was probably a better basketball player. We used to train.
Really?
Remember with Perte Hassanen?
Yep.
So we'd do, for conditioning, we couldn't go on the ice because of NCAA rules. So you try to build in some type of competitive conditioning. So we'd do line changes in basketball. But then the basketball team came down, and then Batesy played with them. Batesy could dunk. He could dunk a basketball.
He's and 5'9",
no,
right?
he's 5'10", but his legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah, he is.
And he could unbelievable spring. But he one of those guys played pickup basketball his whole life. He played on almost a semi-professional softball team. Just a cast of characters. His whole family.
I've brought him up here before.
And
we talk about those types like Joe Pavelski. Oh,
what's this? A tennis racket? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go and play. So I remember, but Batesy was notorious, and so the only time I made Jack Parker really laugh, we were winning, and he'd go these fucking marathon shifts. Batesy would, right? And so it was second line center, third line center myself. And so he'd go on these marathon shifts, and I'd be like, oh my God. So he'd be down, back. And all of a sudden there'd be a breakdown. And this fucking kid, I'm like, Batesy. And I would be so excited, freshman in college. I'd jump out there, minus. Just take a minus, because he'd be he'd stay out this marathon shift, and then there'd be a crazy turnover, crazy turnover. He'd be just cruise over. He's like, I'm done, and just change up, and I'd be get out there all intense, get into the play just enough for the person upstairs. He could be like, oh, what was that, Walsh, 19? Just all right, boop, and just minus. And so he did it to me the whole year. And so I remember that. So now I'm like, I'm not taking. I was the only minus player at BU, and so I was like, fuck this. So he does this one of these marathon shifts. He comes down to do the whole I'm changing up, and I met him at the half of the bench, and I pushed him back out there, and he tried to get on. I was like, no, you take it, sliding down the bench, and I was like, no, fuck you get out there,
fair,
take your fucking minus,
fair.
Take your minus. But Batesy was I laughed.
Well, that was a move that people did. If you changed. Yeah. Or no, if you got on the ice and then a goal was scored for your team, guys would turn around and say, hey, man, you're out there that whole shift.
Half the people listening have played hockey to a level probably where they always have that teammate who would do that to them and been like, oh, my God, I fucking hated that guy on the team. And they're thinking of the guy who did it the worst to them right now in their head.
Yeah.
Whereas the other half, they
don't have anyone
They
there.
never played to that level.
I was the guy.
Hey,
that's when you realize. If I don't have anyone, it might have been me.
If you're doing that as a defense, defenseman, you're like the ultimate fucking piece of trash because that's the last line of defense.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
a forward, at least you can kind of be like, But like, I would be one to always change while we were in the offensive zone for two reasons. Because like we had a more probability of scoring if I was changing for somebody because
Unselfish.
it was only getting better from my fourth line left wing spot, and because I didn't want to get caught out there past the 35-40 second mark in my own end because then all of a sudden they were swarming.
Yeah, no, and then you'd be they'd be a complete hemming.
So if you do that as a player, you're a piece of trash.
Yes.
And but if you do it in the midst of a game where you get the chopstick dance going back to the bench, at least after the guy takes the minus, try to talk to the PR guy to either take it or go up to the guy and acknowledge the fact that you did it to him.
Yeah, no, you should be able to just go up and say, no, that was actually his minus. Let's roll that back. And when did this play start? It started at the red line, and this guy here was still in the ice.
Yeah, well.
Although Batesy, I went down to Long Island to catch a game, and was it the playoffs where Batesy scored on Curtis Joseph in was it division finals? And he had a penalty shot. You got to look at. I think it was.
Oh
Cujo.
yeah, it was against Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah,
Cujo.
and
It was a crazy series.
and it
Like
was
Michael Pekka got knocked out. Darcy Tucker flying around.
That was when Darcy. I thought Pekka tore Tucker's ACL. Was it the other way around?
No, I think that all I know it was like it had more sideshow.
It was a great
It was a great series. One of those NHL series.
I remember the Coliseum going nuts.
It was
for
nuts.
that.
I was right behind. I was in the family section. And then he has his
Penalty
broken play.
shot goal.
Penalty shot goal, Sean Bates. And, you play with this kid. I was down there visiting a buddy of mine. And I'm sitting in the family section. I'm like, he's going to get a fucking penalty shot. And he got a penalty shot. And then all of a sudden, the kid you played hockey with, and I was still playing. But I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And then he had a penalty shot. And what does he do? I think top
he
cheese.
wristed one.
Shelf. Like bar down.
Yep, and the place went
In
nuts.
playoffs.
You had to maul somebody to get a penalty shot back then.
Oh,
Now
I
they get them
know.
out
No,
pretty
it was
easy,
complete.
yeah.
It was complete Hudson Bay rules, like just complete nonsense.
Oh, Walshy, this is great
Yeah.
stuff.
How long have we gone here?
6 days.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Walshy, we're going to come back here right before playoffs gets going. We'll have you on again. I think you're kind of in the Tim Stapleton category where we could
He's
do
been
this for
unbelievable.
hours and hours and hours.
Yep.
Write down the next batch of stories, and we love having you on. You are such a character. Our fan base loves you.
Thank you.
Even if they didn't, I wouldn't give a fuck because we're getting entertained enough.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
It's more about us at this point.
Now, please
Thank you
sign
very
this
much.
waiver on merchandise that featuring yourself and your likeness.
Yeah.